Hello, it's that time again where I've realised that I acquired a lot of books recently, so I'm going to do one of my rare book hauls. I will say firstly, this would not be classified as a Christmas book haul. I am a very, very sad lady in that people refuse to buy me books for Christmas. My partner normally ends up buying me books purely because he can't think of anything else, so that's kind of a bonus. But my family refuse to buy me books, and I can to a certain extent understand, because and there's an example of this here. I do have most books, so a lot of the time it will be getting me repeats, but they won't even let me give them a list of books to get me. They're just like, no, you've got enough books. Devastating. Devastating. Anyway, let's get into it. The books I did get for Christmas. These two I didn't technically get for Christmas. What happened was, my partner wanted to get me 2 extra books, and he wanted to surprise me, so he went in a bookshop, spent ages picking out 2 books that he thought I'd like, one of which I've read, one of which I own. So I went back and got more, because, you know, exchange and all that. Very exciting. So I picked up Kate Atkinson's Life After Life. I've seen, oh, it's glowing a bit. I've seen this a few times and never been interested. For some reason I thought it was like a crime thriller kind of thing. Don't think it is. From what I can tell, this is about sort of, it's one of those books that looks at the idea of what would have happened if you'd taken a different path, and it sort of splits off, and yeah, it sounds interesting. Everybody seems to have very good things to say about it. The woman in the bookshop was like, this is amazing, so I'm very excited about that one. Also picked up the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. I've been really excited about this for years and years and years, and never got around to picking it up for some reason. I've never actually come across it in a bookshop, I think, because I was purposefully looking for it, because Sophie Carlin, whose channel I will link down below, likes excellent books, and she loved this one, so very excited. This is basically about a man who goes to be a missionary in the Congo, I think? Yes, in the Congo, and I hear it's devastating and it will hurt your heart. Then the books that I actually asked for Christmas, we went in. I've been wanting some Clothbound penguins for ages, but they're kind of too expensive for me to justify getting for myself. I didn't really want anything else, so I thought I'll ask for some for Christmas. And I've also been wanting to read Charles Dickens recently, because it struck me that I've never read him and I've never had the desire to, but I think I'm at a stage where I think I would enjoy him. So I got the Clothbound of Oliver Twist and also the Clothbound of Great Expectations, which are beautiful. I especially love Oliver Twist, but I love white, so that's probably why. But that one is also beautiful. Everybody kind of knows the stories of these. Oliver Twist, about an orphan boy who, please can I have more, sir? I've seen the film many times and never picked up the book. I think I got it once when I was quite young, and we're talking like 12, and tried to read it, and for obvious reasons that didn't happen. Then Great Expectations, I believe, is about a boy who falls in love with a girl, and something about an old woman that he goes to see. I have watched the film, can't remember. But anyway, I'm going to like them. I'm determined to like them. I really want to pick up Our Mutual Friend. I think I want that to be my first Charles Dickens, but I have yet to see that in Clothbound. I hope it is in Clothbound. I might have to search for this. Then, while we're on the Clothbounds, I did be naughty and pick myself up one, which is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. I read Anna Karenina last month and loved it. I've got that in a Clothbound folio edition. This just stuck out to me in the shop because it's pretty, and it's you know, another Clothbound, even though it's not the folio one and it's shorter in size, like length. Very thick book, very daunted, over 1,000 pages in this beast. But I think I'm going to really enjoy it. If it's anything like Anna Karenina, I don't know much about it. I think it's sort of more about politics and the lifestyle of people, and Leo Tolstoy's sort of political and philosophical views, which has got to be a good thing. This has recently come out on television as well as a series, so I'm looking forward to reading it and then being able to watch that. Then I picked up, all the rest is just stuff that I picked up for myself. It's a sad but true fact. Another Barbara Kingsolver I saw in a charity shop. I hate the fact that it's got this on it. I thought it was a sticker, it's not. But let's ignore that. This is the Lacuna. I can't really gather from the blurb exactly what this is about, but I think it's about a man who, he writes down everything and somehow that comes back to bite him, or the past comes back to bite him. I don't know. But I'm sure it's going to be good, because Barbara Kingsolver, and everyone seems to love her, and I think I will. Then, this was exciting. I found a lovely new bookshop that I never knew existed, called Toppings and Company in Bath. And got a Jeanette Winterson, and I picked this one up purely for this reason. It's a signed copy. They've got loads of signed copies in there. It's lovely. If you're ever in Bath, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's amazing. This is about a sort of, sounds like a kind of space-related sci-fi love triangle between a woman and a man and his wife. I think she falls in love with the wife, even though she was going to be going for the husband. But it's Jeanette Winterson. It sounds like it's going to be interesting. I really want to read all of Jeanette Winterson, and I literally picked this up because it was the signed one. I could have picked up any number of them. I kind of was tempted by Sexy and the Cherry, but the signing just pushed me on this one. Not that I'm normally bothered, but it was like, when you've got the option between, you might as well get a signed copy, and Jeanette Winterson touched that book. That's weird. Then I picked up This Isn't the Sort of Thing That Happens to Someone Like You by John McGregor. I recently read If Nobody Speaks of Remarkable Things, and it was amazing. I will link a review that I have done down below. This sounds like it's quite similar to that sort of multi-perspective about just the lives of people. On the back in the blurb, there is actually a line that says, let me find it. These aren't the sort of things you imagine happening to someone like you, but sometimes they do. So that's me sold. I definitely think I'm going to just love John McGregor, and I just loved his writing style so much. Sounds like it won't be dissimilar, but I'm quite happy with that. Then I also picked up Kate Atkinson's The God in Ruins. I don't know what this is about. I think it's kind of a side, like it's a follow-up to Life After Life, I believe, but it's not an exact follow-up, but I'm sort of sceptical of reading the back just in case. I think it sort of follows one of the characters from Life After Life, but I picked this up as well because it was in a 2-for deal, and I know I'm going to love her, so I might as well. Then I picked up 2 short story collections. If you have seen my sort of things that will be happening video, I'm going to be reading a short story collection a month this year. I firstly got The Girl in the Flammable Skirt by Amy Bender. This was her first short story collection, and I just don't even need to explain it. I've read one short story already, loved it. I think this is going to be my first one, and it's going to be amazing. Then I picked up Julie Oringa's How to Breathe Underwater. Everybody's talking about this at the moment. I'm a bit disappointed. This is the only paperback copy I could find, and I like the cover that everybody else has got. But never mind, I think I'm going to really enjoy this. It's about sort of the trials and tribulations of being a woman, and it sounds quite good. It'll be a bit different from The Girl in the Flammable Skirt. I think it's very realist, so it'll be nice to get a bit of variety. Then I picked up, still going, Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. This was in the 2-for deal with A God in Ruins, and I think I'm going to quite enjoy it. It's about a girl who, well, I think it's sort of fairy tale-esque and magical, but it's predominantly about a girl who has been told by her father that the world has ended, and they've lived a very sheltered life. Presumably she finds out that the world hasn't ended, and stuff goes from there. But everyone's talking about that one as well, and it sounds like very good. Then I picked up The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This is one of those books that I've just never picked up, even though I've always intended to. My mum even used to own this book, and she told me to read it, and I just never got around to it, and then she gave it away. So I picked up a copy for myself. This is a sort of ghosty story based in an antique bookshop, I believe, so I think it's going to be great fun, and looking forward to that one. Then I got The Hours by Michael Cunningham. This I have been meaning to pick up for a while as well, but I haven't read Mrs. Dalloway yet, and I wanted to read that before I read this. I'm still going to read that before I read this, but I really liked this copy, and it wasn't too expensive, so I picked it up. This is sort of I've seen the film. It's like a multi-narrative sort of take on Mrs. Dalloway. One of the characters is Virginia Woolf herself, and it's quite interesting, and I think after I read Mrs. Dalloway I will really understand it a lot more. So yes, there's that one. Then I got Girl with a Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier. I've watched the film of this and found it really not very good, but I think the writing is meant to be very good, and it's one of those books that I've sort of never got round to picking up, but kind of always had in the back of my mind. So I don't know when I'll pick this one up, and I'm not overly excited about it, but I think I would probably enjoy it more than I'm expecting to, so I'm glad to own it so that I can eventually get around to reading it. Then I got Jonathan Franzen's The Corrections. This is one of those books I think is always on those must-read lists, and I've never actually come across it in a bookshop up to now, so I picked it up. This seems to be about a man who loses his mind to Parkinson's, and his family sort of set their ideas on a really great last Christmas meal before he sort of deteriorates further. and if I had known that I would have probably got it before Christmas, but I might just save it to next Christmas and read it then. I don't know it's overly Christmassy, but I feel like I should read it at Christmas. And lastly, I've got 2 non-fiction picks here. I forgot to mention in my things that will be happening video, I also intend to read 1 non-fiction pick a month. I don't know if I'm going to stick to that because I don't love non-fiction. We'll see if I can find enough stuff that I want to read to keep it going, but, you know, give it a go. So I've got Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is a sort of creative self-help book in a way. I've already read it. It was really good. Such a quick read. I literally read it in one evening. There's not a huge deal of writing onto a page. If you want to know more, I will be reviewing this in my monthly wrap-up. But it's very good. It's basically about the idea that creativity in sort of a spiritual sense, and the fact that ideas are floating around in the air to be had by people, and sort of talking about creativity as a tangible thing. And it's really interesting and really good, and it makes you look at creativity in a more fun way, and also it's gorgeous. And also underneath the jacket it's pink. Now I'm not a pink person, but I think a pink hardback is pretty cool, gotta be honest. Then Charles Bukowski's On Writing. This is a book that was released recently and I haven't heard much about, but luckily I saw it in the window of a shop and was like, gotta have that. This is basically Charles Bukowski's letters and drawings and things to publishers after he has sent them manuscripts. I've read a few already, they're hilarious. He was a very bizarre man. There's pages like this where he's literally written a letter. This is a letter to a publisher in pictures. And it's just going to be fun. I think with this one I might well just pick it up here and there. I think reading it straight through would probably be a bit much, but it's fun. I think this would be an excellent gift for sort of a writery kind of person, or a Charles Bukowski fan who is also interested in writing. It's perfect. That's everything. That was a lot of books acquired in a short period of time. I probably won't buy any books for a while. Bye.